How are you, dude?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Last time you were on the show, you were getting ready to put the album out, and I had joked about putting an album out in the middle of hunting season. You said that was by design because you get all the lead up stuff before the season started. How did hunting season go? That's what I want to know.
Like usual, it wasn't long enough, but it was a good one, man. We had a busy year on the road, and my shows carried on into December, so I had to kind of hunt around some shows. But it was great, man. I had a good month or so off, had some time with the family, and I reckon I'm kind of ready to get back on the road now. I can't believe I'm saying it.
You're making a run to number one with different round here, and you got one of your buddies on it with Luke Combs. That's got to be like double the awesomeness if this thing goes all the way to the top.
Yeah, man. Anytime you can do a collaboration with a buddy is always cool, and it worked out great being on the stadium tour with Luke last year. Obviously, that was a great opportunity for me to get in front of a lot of fans, and it's been really cool to see this song kind of get a second life. Obviously, it was the title track of my debut album, but wasn't a single. So the fact that Luke wanted to be a part of it was great, and it's cool to see people singing it louder and louder every week now.
This was one that was redone. You did this before solo, yeah, and then so this was originally put out on the original album on your first album, and then how did the conversation go to get Luke involved? Did he come to you? Was it like, hey, this could be a duet? How did the collaboration come about?
Well, for all aspiring country music artists out there, there's probably a proper chain of events that's supposed to happen for you to do a feature with an artist. You talk to somebody's manager, but it was nothing like that. I texted Luke and said, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about putting this song out as a single, and do you want to be a part of it?" And very fortunately for me, he did, and it worked out great that we were on a tour together at the time. So it was cool to have that song and watch it go up the charts as we were out playing in these stadiums.
So what's next for you? From as far as next single, do you already have that figured out, or are you still working through the process of figuring out which song is going to be next?
Well, there's a lot of discussion. Obviously, there's a lot of songs on there that I wrote that I feel strongly about, and the label kind of helps you pick through all that stuff. But at the same time, the best judge for me is playing these songs live. So I'm really excited about having these next few weeks as my tour starts up to be able to play some of these songs off the record and see what really raises its hand, like what song fans really sing back to me.
So there's two schools of thought there. It's like you either come immediately after the peak week with the next record, or you let it kind of marinate and wait a few weeks before you go decide. I guess it's whichever way. You just got to make sure you're making the right move these days.
Yeah, I've always used social media and all these outlets we have to stay in touch with fans digitally to be able to play songs. I might write a song today and play it on Instagram tonight, just to see what people think. And that's kind of the biggest tool I have for judging these songs. And I think it's a great way to pick what the next single is to kind of see what song fans seem to kind of run to.
Absolutely. Let's talk 2024 touring and just getting out on the road. Is it a lot more headlining this year than it was? I know you were out with Luke all last year on the stadium shows. A lot more Riley Green on the top bill in 2024 for you.
It's all headline shows this year, what it looks like.
That's
We'll do a
awesome.
few fairs and festivals, but my headline tour is called the This Ain't My Last Rodeo Tour. We're taking out Tracy Lawrence, who's a legend, and a girl named Ella Langley. And we're doing arenas and amphitheaters all over the country. We've got several dates. I don't even know how many, but it starts in a couple of weeks. And, as awesome as it was playing stadiums opening for Luke, it's always, as an artist, you always kind of want to go play your own shows and headline and be able to play that full set. So, really excited about getting back out and playing a lot of these brand new songs off the record.
Right. I mean, you had a pretty good set time on the Luke tour because you were direct support. Laney was right before you. So now you'll have a full 90 minutes to kind of take a little bit more of a sonic and emotional roller coaster through a set. You could start off heavy and slow it down a little bit and end heavy, or really kind of do it the way you want. You have more time to breathe when you're the headliner versus when you're opening on these shows. You got 25 to 60 minutes, depending on the time frame, to give the best of the best to kind of make that good first impression.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've been to some of the shows, and probably one of the biggest moments in my set is me coming out on a stool and playing. I wish Grandpa's never died, or Hell of a Way to Go, or whatever that kind of slow ballady kind of emotional song is. So it's hard to get that in a stadium setting. It was really a little bit of a learning curve to go play a stadium show. You're trying to reach those people all the way in the back, and fill up a big stage. And to make that set list kind of consolidated down to 45 minutes is pretty tough. So it's going to be nice to have that freedom again and be able to play a full 90-minute show.
It's funny that you or interesting that you brought up, Grandpa's, because that was really starting to cook, and then the pandemic hit, and you guys made the choice to pull the single because it's one of those things you didn't want to be associated with such a negative thing that was going on with COVID-19. But do you ever wish you could go back and just because that thing was really starting to heat up, and I've been to your shows, everybody's singing along to every word, but I think had you not made the decision to pull off the single, it might be a little bit different experience hearing that song, and kind of subconsciously having that memory contacted. Like, do you wish you could do things differently if you were to go back to 2020, or would you still made the same decision to move on?
It's a good question. It's 2020 was obviously so tough for everybody for a lot of reasons. And as a touring artist, it was tough. We came off a tour with Aldine and Morgan Wallen on the tour, and we were going to headline, and then obviously the world shuts down. We have that song, which is still a huge song for me. So it's hard to be too upset about it. But at the same time, it's like, I won a ACM award for New Male Artist of the Year, and we didn't really have an ACM award. So there's a lot of things that kind of took away from some pretty cool moments for me. But every time I go play "Oh, His Grandpa's Never Died" and everybody in the crowd sings it back to me, it's hard to be too upset about anything that's happened with it. It seemed like it's worked out okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, a great song is a great song, no matter what position you end up on the charts at. You know what I mean? A hit is a hit, no matter what the number says at the end of the life of the single. So you still got
Yeah,
yourself a massive hit with that one for sure.
that song's the number one to my fans as far as they're
Yeah,
concerned, I think. So I'm all right with
absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned, you won ACM or the New Male Artist of the Year in a year where there really wasn't an award show. I remember Eric Church winning Entertainer of the Year at the CMAs in 2020 and jokingly saying, man, the one year I didn't want to win this thing, it's like in the middle of the pandemic. But hey, you know what? You got the hardware, and 20, 30 years from now, it's still going to be there. And the memories of the pandemic will probably be a lot less than they are today. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly when things opened back up and became somewhat normal again, how great things got on the road. Fans were so starved from live entertainment and being able to go out and have that normalcy. So it was great for us to be back out, and now it's kind of like you said, you can almost forget about it.
So one thing I love about country fans and just our life group in general, things are super expensive right now. Gas is up, rents are crazy high. People are broke, yet they still find a way to find the money and buy a ticket to go see their favorite artist. And you don't get you don't get as big a feeling of that in other genres of music like you do in country.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's pretty unique fan base that we have, and I'm glad they're still buying tickets because fuel prices are high, and it's hard to fill up all those buses to go play the show now. It costs more to go play one, so
Yeah.
it's awesome that people are still showing up, and that's something that makes a lot of the long nights and long flights and bus rides worth it is getting in front of fans and seeing the enthusiasm they bring to the show.
It's amazing. Just like I was talking to Luke when Luke Bryan last year, saw him and he was saying just $1 a gallon difference over the course of a year is like $1 million to his bottom line in fuel because of the trucks and the buses and everything. It's just wild to even think about. We're complaining about an extra $20 to fill up our tank, but we don't have a fleet of buses or trucks, so I get that. But
Yeah, well, you tell Luke I'd like to have his problems.
I love it, man. Well, congratulations on the success of Different Round Here. I'm glad this song got a version 2.0 because being an album cut, I'm a radio guy. I hear singles most of the time, so it's very rare that I have the time to listen to a whole album. So I'm gonna have to go AB this one and listen to the original, and then obviously I know this one. But it's nice to see that this one got a life on the radio, and hopefully a number one song for you and Luke Combs on this.
Yeah, man, it's been great to see it, and like I said, it's always been a hit for me at a live show. So now I'm glad that it's gotten the love of country radio, and it's just that much more of a hit.
Yeah, the fact that it's one of your buddies and coincidentally one of country's biggest superstars on it with you, uh, I'm sure you're not complaining about that.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't
No,
hurt.
it
Luke
does
can be
not.
on it. He can be on any song he wants to be of mine.
There you go, brother. Well, Riley, thanks for making the time. Have a great weekend. Who do you have in the Super Bowl? Are you Chiefs or Niners? Who's going to win this game?
it's hard to bet against the Chiefs right now, man. They've had a pretty good run.
I know, and the Taylor Swift just kiss there towards the end has seemed to have amped up all the importance of this game even more.
Yeah, maybe if somebody on the 49ers was dating Jennifer Aniston or Britney Spears or something, it'd be tough. But right now, you can't go away from the Chiefs.
All right, so Riley Green says the Chiefs are going to win. I think that's going to be the case too. They're playing the underdog role the last few weeks, and they seem to be playing up to it for sure.
Yeah, I think the whole world was Detroit fans for a while, so
Yeah,
everybody might as well pull for the Chiefs now.
there you go. All right, man. We'll talk soon. Thanks for making the time, and hope maybe see you in Nashville CRS here in a couple weeks.
All right, sounds good, buddy. Appreciate it.